The month of February had 28 days in '03. In that same month, the town of Chillsburg had 4 days on which it snowed for every 3 days on which it did not snow. For that month in Chillsburg, the number of days on which it snowed was how much greater than the number of days on which it did not snow? Okay, so we have a 3 to 4 proportion of snow. That should be an N to no snow. Okay, so out of every 7 days, 3/7, so this would actually be more like a proportion, 3/7 of the 28 has snow. Right, and I happen to know that 7 times 4 is 28, so we have 4 here. So we have 3 times 4 is 12 days of snow. Okay, so at the same time, we have 4 out of all of each of those 7, because again, 4 no snow, so out of every 7, 28. Same sleight of hand turns this into a 4, so 16 days of no snow. The number of days on which it snowed was how much greater than the number of those days when it did not snow? Alright, 3 for every 4. Oh, I got these two reversed. I had 4 days for every 3 days. So actually, all the stuff here is the same except for these titles here should be swapped. There are 4 more days of snow. A lesson that you got to pay attention to. On a test worth total of 200 points, she lost 7% of those points because she forgot to answer one question. But she got 5 points added back to her score for answering the extra credit correctly. If she answered all of the other questions on the test correctly, how many points did she get? Alright, so she had 200 points. She answered correctly 93% of those. 200 points, she did 7/100ths of them, which means that she lost, because we can get rid of the 2 zeros here, she lost 14 points. So minus 14 plus 5, 200. Okay, so 200 minus 14 is going to give us a 6. We have a 9 here. That should be a 1, so we have 86. Shouldn't really need to do that longhand, but here we are. Plus 5 is going to be 89. Ain't nothing finer than an 89er. That's when I finished high school. In the sequence above, each term after the first is equal to the previous term times a positive constant. So 36 times k is x. 36 times k again equals y. 36 times k cubed equals 4/3. So then, if we just get k by itself, we put divided by 9 times 4 is 36, which I did because I want to now do that. 1 over 3 times 3 times 3. The 9 here is 3 times 3, which means k is 1/3, right? Because 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3 equals k cubed. This is the answer here. In the graph of y equals x squared plus hx minus 6 passes through the point of minus 3 minus 21. So we have here y equals 2x squared plus hx minus 6. They tell you that you get a minus 21 value of y when you take minus 3 here and plug it in here. So 2 times minus 3 squared is going to be times 9 plus h times, or actually we'll just make this a minus h3, okay, minus 6 equals minus 21. So if we put 2 times 9 is 18 over here, we want to subtract minus 18 to get rid of this guy, plus 6 here. Okay, so 931 plus 6 here is going to be 33 negative. Minus h3 equals that. We'll divide by minus 3 to get h equals 11. It goes to 11. If you haven't seen it, you should watch the movie Spinal Tap. If the absolute value of 4b minus 8 is somewhere between 10 and 15, and b is a positive number, what is one possible value of b? Alrighty, well, so either we have 10 less than 4b minus 8 less than 15, or we have 10 less than minus 4b plus 8 less than 15, right? Because we're just taking the plus value and the minus value, and in this case here I distributed the minus across there. Alright, so if we do that, we will then be able to add the 8's over here to get 18 less than 4b less than 23. So b is positive number, so if we have 4 times 4 is 16, that's not bigger than that. 5 times 4 here, that would be 20, which does lie between the two there. So 20 is, or 5 is one possible value. 6 times 4 is 24 is too big, so that doesn't work. But here on the other side, if we have plus 8, we're going to have 2 less than minus 4b less than 7. And let's take this and put it over there, which means then that 4b has to be somewhere between, oh, and I messed up here, 10 minus, no, did not mess up. Oh, but this here should be negative, that is why. That's where I screwed up. Okay, so 4b has to be somewhere between minus 2 and minus 7. 1 times 4 does not work. You need a negative number to get either of these. So that doesn't appear to work. So I'm going to stick here with 5. If 6w is an integer and 2.5 is less than 5w is less than 3.5, what is the value of w? Alright, well, let's say that we have 2.5 divided by 5, or let's say we have 5 halves less than, and here we have 2 times 3 is 6, 7 halves, 5w, so w here divided by 5 divided by 5. Okay, so we have 5 tenths and 7 tenths. Okay, so we need some number to make 6w here be an int. And it appears here that if we were able to do 5 tenths, we could then say, if we had 5 tenths times 6, we'd have 30, which would end up being 30 divided by 10, which is just 3 times w. but that doesn't work because they say greater than 5/10, so it's not actually 5/10. So some number times 6 has to be an integer. Alright, conversely, if we were to say that it was the other extent here, so here, alright, if we were able to pick 5/10, we would have been able to get 3 as a 6w integer. On the other hand, if we were to pick 7/10 as w, so 7 times 6 over 10 is 42/10, okay, which is a little bit more than 4. So it looks like the number we're looking for here is going to be a 4. Okay, we want a value of 6w equals 4. Okay, so if w were to be 4/6, then 6 times that would be an integer, and so then the question is w actually between 4? Is 4/6 here actually between this 5/10 and the 7/10? So if we were to make this here be, well, just times 6 is going to be 30 60ths. This one here is going to be 42 60ths. This right here becomes 40 60ths, which is actually between the two. So w is 4/6, otherwise known as 2/3. In the system above, s is greater than 0. What is the value of t over s? Which the s is greater than 0 is really necessary in order to make this over s part here work, because if s were to be 0, then this becomes a crazy value. Alright, so we want t over s, so we want to get these values here by themselves. So 4/5 m plus 2/5 s is t, right? Really here I just took the 5 and I divided out here. All of that divided by 3m plus s, which is not particularly helpful. Here, if we take this guy, s equals 3m plus s, we subtract both sides, we get 0 equals 3m, which means that m equals 0. Which means that falls out and that falls out. So now we have 2/5 s divided by s. The s's cancel and you are left with just 2/5. The table above shows the voting results in 2 towns for a certain referendum. If the percentage of Monroe voters that voted no is twice the percentage that voted no in Blacksburg, what is the total number of voters? Alrighty. So, we have in Monroe a total of 1,500 people, right? 900 plus 600 is 1,500. The people percentage that voted no is going to be 900 divided by 1,500 is the, you have to multiply by 100, is percentage of no Monroe. Okay, so here I see a 3 times 3 and a 3 times 5, so those cancel. 3/5, those zeros also cancel, which is going to be 60%. 3 divided by 5, otherwise known as 6/10. 60%. So the percentage of Monroe voters who voted no is twice the percentage of Blacksburg voters. Okay, so that means that the Blacksburg is going to be 30% no's. So total Blacksburg times point. So 0.3 times 1400 plus m. So 0.3% of the total equals m. So we have 0.3 of 1400 . We have 404.20 plus 0.3 m equals m, which means 420 equals 0.7 m. 1 minus 0.3 is 0.7. So m is going to be 420 divided by 0.7. So we have 600 Blacksburg no. What's the total number of voters in both towns that did that? So 600 for here plus 900 is going to be a total of 1,500 no votes in total. In the rectangle above, the ratio of AB to BC is 1:1, meaning that this is equal to that. The ratio of CD to DE, D here, is 1/3. So this is going to be 1/4, and this is going to be 3/4. So for every 1 that we have here, we have 3 down here. And FG to GA is a 1:3 ratio as well. So we have 1/4 to 3/4. What is the fraction of the area of the rectangle is shaded? All right. So how do we do this? So we have a total area. Let's call this side here y. So if we have a total area of 2x times y is everything, minus 1/2 base height of this. So we have 1/2 of x times 3/4 y. So that subtracts away this guy. And then we have 1/2 of x times this guy, which is going to be 1/4 y. Okay. So if we have here minus 3/8, right? Because we multiply the 3's and the 2 and the 4, xy minus 1/8 xy, which this looks an awful lot like 1/2 xy, because 3/8 and 1/8 is 4/8, otherwise known as half. So 2xy minus 1/2 xy, which is going to then be 1.5 xy, 1.5 5xy. Okay, so that is the area of this, and the fraction of the area that is shaded is going to be 1/2 xy over the total, which is 2xy, right, which we had over here. So these two guys cancel. So we have 3 halves divided by 4 halves, right, divided by 4 halves. So you flip these to make it a multiply, so you have 3 halves times 2 over 4, which means those cancel, and we have a final answer of 3/4.